Hey guys, welcome back to Real Love Scenario.
Whoa, whoa. Hey guys.
Shout out to all our real lovers out there. How are you doing? Rhonda? We are back.
We are back. We are back after a little week off. We hoped you guys missed us because I missed y'all. But I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm about to go on my anniversary trip with my wife,
Ooh.
and get some time off, much needed time off. So I'm excited
Yeah.
about that. Celebrating year
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
4.
Okay. Okay.
Year 4, so
That's
we going
amazing.
strong.
That's
Mhm.
amazing. Early happy anniversary to you. It's gonna be fantastic. I know it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Mm,
that.
yes, yes,
You've been here the whole time. You know me
yes.
before
Mhm.
and after. Definitely a
It's a
different man.
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful you're same guy, just mature. You've grown. That's what you've always been a good guy. You just matured and decided to get settled down and get married. And that's how it should work. That's how it should
100%.
work.
I
Yeah.
think when we met, I had to be all of like maybe 26, 27, something like that, maybe
When
something
who
along those
met? You and
lines.
Bree?
You and me. Oh
Really?
no, I had to be like
You were
23,
like 22. Yeah, like you're
22.
not
Oh yeah.
26.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nah, yeah. So I should have been wilding. It would be a little
That's what I'm saying.
issues if I wasn't.
Exactly. Like I've seen worse, trust me. Like you were really not that bad. You were just young and enjoying your life. So, yeah, yeah, makes sense.
100%. Well, if you are new here, welcome to Real Love Scenario. We are Dre and Rhonda. And we want you to join the Real Lover Gang. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to join the Real Lover Gang. It's free to you, but means a lot to us. And welcome all the people who are joining live on YouTube. Make sure if you're
Yeah.
listening right now to catch us every Tuesday at 8 o'clock to join this live and also give your opinions via the chat and everything like that. So we're super excited.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's
thank
8
you.
p.m. EST, by the way, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are in the chat, don't be shy. I see the numbers up there. Come on in here, say hi, tell us what your name is, tell us where you're joining us from, so we can give you some shout outs. We love shouting out our real lovers. That is a big deal to us. You give us love, we want to give the love back.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. 4 years has been married. It's been a long time. And I know some people have followed us on our whole journey. So it's like what our worth the wait and all that stuff before marriage. And to see where we are now is just so awesome. So awesome. So we're really excited. But I want to, speaking of our real lovers, I want to do our real lover shout out today. So comes from Spotify. This is
Oh,
from, ooh, oh, it always comes up small on my screen.
yeah.
What's
I think
Can you
his
pronounce the
name
name?
Alea. Alea,
Alea.
maybe?
It was a
Yeah.
lot of A's and E's in there. I couldn't
I
decipher
think it's
from where I
Alea.
could see.
Alea, either one.
Alea or Alea says, I love the podcast. I listen every week, Heart. Thanks, Rhonda and Dre. We appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank
listening
you.
every week. That's how you lock in. That's how we do this thing called a relationship. That's how we do that. We lock in every week.
Exactly. Exactly. We got people from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Philly
Yeah.
joined the chat. What's going
Yeah.
on, Brittany?
Hey, Brad from Philly. Brittany,
Brad
Brittany,
from
Brittany's in
Philly.
Maryland. Brittany's in Maryland.
Merlin.
Brittany's in Maryland, as the Marylanders say.
It's so funny. I was out in Atlanta the other day, and and you know this because you're a Marylander. All our people from Maryland. I was in Atlanta, and I was like, I see this crab cake dinner on here, but I was like, is this like real crab cake? He was like, you from the DMV? I was like, yeah, I'm from Maryland. He was like, a lady just came in here and asked that. She was from Maryland. She was like, is this real crab cake? I'm like, you gotta understand, that's what we eat all day, every day from a young age. We don't want that crab
Telling
cake
you.
with all that crap in it. Like, I
That's
want
I
actual
honestly
crab.
really don't eat crab outside of here for the most part, or you might eat it in other places that are known for fresh seafood, like Maine or something like that. I
Hmm.
ate it in Boston, but I would not eat a crab cake from in Atlanta. I would not do that. I would just assume that it is not blue crab. That is what I'm. But it could be real crab, but I don't want like Alaskan snow crab cakes. I don't want that. Like, mm-mm. So I stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to. I get, for the most part, my crab cakes right from home. That way, it should be a safe bet.
Yeah, and I mean, when I had it, it was good enough. It
It was good
wasn't.
enough.
It
Okay.
wasn't the Maryland, but it wasn't like I don't get why they even make crab cakes with all that stuff in it. It don't make no sense. Like all that other crap. But
You
it
only
was
feel
good
that
enough.
way because you're from here. That's the only reason you feel that way. That's they used to eating it with all that mess in it. That's how they think it's supposed to be. That's how they think
Shame,
it's supposed to be,
shame,
for
shame,
sure.
shame that they don't get to experience the real.
Yeah. Hey, Portia from Dallas. Thanks for joining
What
us.
up, Portia?
All right. Love
Are you ready to
all
get into
the
our
love.
real love scenario, Rhonda?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Tonight we hear from a lady who says, "Hey, Rhonda and Dre. Hey." She said,
Hey.
"I'm new here, so I'm not sure if this topic has been covered yet, but I'd love for you to talk about controlling partners. My boyfriend has a significant issue with my wardrobe. He feels that I don't respect him or our relationship because I haven't changed my style to suit him. While I understand that certain pieces might make some guys uncomfortable, I genuinely believe that my outfits are not over the top. It's frustrating because he seems to trip over my clothes more than anything else. I've tried to understand his perspective, but I just can't wrap my head around it since I don't dress in a way that's inappropriate. I could share more examples of his controlling behavior, but I won't, but I could go on forever. I'd really appreciate any insights, especially from Dre. As a private person, I don't usually open up, but I truly want to hear a guy's perspective. Am I overreacting or is there something more to this? Thanks.
Thank you so much for writing in and trusting us. I know that you say you're a private person and don't like to open up, but for trusting us with this scenario and be able to offer you
Mhm.
some advice. And we're going to do that to the best of our abilities.
Absolutely. Thank you, girl, for writing in. We appreciate it. This is such an interesting one. And I don't think we've covered this before.
I don't think so either.
So it's a very interesting topic, and I think it can be really, really polarizing. And so, before we jump into it, as always, we want to hear from you guys in the chat. So, tell us. I'm gonna ask this question, and I really want to know your honest feedback. Do you think your partner should have insight on how you dress? And um, drop it in the chat. What you think? Yes, they should have an opinion and an insight on what you wear or what you shouldn't wear, or no, it should just be completely up to you and you should be able to have the autonomy over how you dress. So, as we wait for the real lovers to chime in, Dre, that's exactly
Yes.
where I want to kick things off with you. Do you, do you think, and really both in both ways, do you think that you should have insight into how Bree dresses? And are you okay with her having opinion and insight on what you wear?
100%. I think that's definitely appropriate and okay. And I'm glad you said insight versus control, right? That's two different things. Like I should be able to communicate what makes me comfortable and what doesn't make me uncomfortable. I should be the person to tell you like, "Hey, that's not flattering for your body type or something like that." And you should be able to tell me the same as well. We're in a relationship, we're in this together. And I always tell people is like, I gotta look at you more than you gotta look at you, right?
That's
If you
so
think
true.
about it, right? So it's like if I'm saying like I prefer this or I prefer that, I should be able to express that. And this should be taken into consideration because we all have our preferences. We all have things that concern us. We all have things that, bother us in many different ways. And if I can't be open about that when it comes to my partner, who can I be open about that? And that's what relationship really is. At the smallest example of something like clothing is sacrifice. It's like if you want to do whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want it, that's when you remain single. Or you hire people to do the other things. If you want somebody to come to your house and cook, you hire a chef. If you're paying them, you can tell them exactly what you want. You want somebody to clean your house a certain way, you could pay a maid to clean exactly how you want to clean. You want somebody to rub your body the right way, the way you want it, you could pay a masseuse. Like if you don't want to sacrifice, you can pay people to do things and they will do it because they're employed by you, right? But if you want, a relationship, that's going to come with sacrifice, and then some of that is um you know mutually agreeing to things that your partner communicates to you that is a preference for them. It's just a reality of relationships.
Yeah, yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I do think that it makes sense to me that your partner, as you said, looks at you more than you look at you, probably. Like you see yourself a few times in the mirror when you open up your phone, but your person is their eyes are always on you for the most part if you're around each other. So I do think that it makes sense for your partner to have influence, or just insight into what you wear, especially as it relates to what makes them comfortable and what does not make them comfortable. I want to highlight here, Portia made a comment and said, is it about aesthetic or appropriateness? And I think this is where there's a delineation, right? This is the separation. I'm a person that loves style. I love getting dressed. I have since I was a kid. That was such a big thing. My mom used to dress me up. My dad loved to dress. So it was something that was a part of my life from like a really young age. So style or being stylish has always been a thing for me. And so in some of my relationships, I've dated guys who weren't necessarily interested in style as much as I was, or they didn't necessarily have that eye for style. And because I did and they were open to it, I was able to make like suggestions or even shop for them. Like, this would, you could try this, or this makes you look better. Like you said, this flatters you more. So I think most people are probably okay with that type of insight, right? Like, this is a cool shirt, babe. You should try it. Or, honey, this skirt is really, really sexy. I think you should try this. Where it gets tricky is when you have to talk about the things that make you uncomfortable. Like, those pants are really tight. And I feel like if you wear those outside, certain parts of your body that are supposed to be reserved for my eyes only, other people can see them. Or if you wear that particular blouse and you don't wear a bra with it, like your breasts are showing in a way that like I'm not comfortable with. I think that's when it gets harder for people to manage it, or they feel like they're being not they feel like they're being controlled, but it feels to me more like a criticism than a suggestion. It feels like you're saying to them, you don't know how to be appropriate. Here's how to be appropriate. But I do think relationships should have room for both. I think relationships should have room for both. To be able to
Yeah,
say this is not as stylish as I would prefer, and or this is a bit too provocative for my comfort.
yeah. I mean, being somebody who's, as we talked about, been married for 4 years, but with my wife for 8, we've matured in this conversation, right? When we first started dating, it was a much different conversation than now. If we started dating, I have communicated to my wife things that make me feel uncomfortable based off of my thought of being appropriate. So, like when we first started dating, I ain't like when she wore like really like lace tops to where it felt like really see through and stuff like that. That didn't make me comfortable. I still to this day don't like when she's wearing a shirt, no bra, and nipples are just like poking out of the shirt.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I communicate that to her. But now in our relationship, it's something that I don't have to communicate anymore. She just like, oh, I'll put my cover ups on, or I just don't wear that. And there's things that she's communicated to me that she prefers this over that, and we just kind of learn each other. But
Hmm.
we understood that like at the end of the day, it's clothes, right? So you know, we have our own style. We have things that we prefer.
Hmm.
Um, what I think you find sometimes in relationships is some people prefer comfort over style, right? And sometimes you have that argument. It's like, I just want to be comfortable. I'd rather be a little bit more stylish, right?
Hmm.
And that's where a lot of that argument happens. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's, clothes. And there are a lot of other parts of the relationship that probably should get way more attention and
Yeah.
focus than clothes. But I think it's important just to communicate like anything from an aesthetic standpoint. Um, in your relationship, you should communicate, especially if there's something that you observe or something that makes you feel uncomfortable. For one thing, it might be clothes. We might go into another part of the relationship and be like, I know you like them lashes, but them joints are super long. And as Bree say, look like caterpillars on your eyes.
And my mom says
um,
butterfly eyes.
yeah, it's like I'm not feeling that. Like you have to feel
Mhm.
comfortable to be able to communicate those things in your relationship. But it's first about creating a safe space to do that. Like, you
Mhm.
have to create a space to where the person can hear you for what you're trying to say and not think it's tied to some other deep rooted feeling that you have within a relationship. And I think that's a big thing in this uh scenario that's more concerning than a closed thing, is that she talks about other controlling behavior, right? If it was
Right.
just one thing that was like, hey, this particular thing really bothers me, because at the end of the day, everybody has their things, right? You have typically a baseline when it comes to relationships of most things that people are like, this is wrong, this is right, right? There's kind of an even till, kill there.
Mhm.
But we all got our things that we care more about or less about than other things, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, for me in my relationship, I can care less about holidays and birthdays. I don't care about them at all. Celebrating them, big fuss about it. It's just another day to me. I mean, it's cool, happy birthday, whatever. I don't care about that stuff. It means really nothing. I mean, a little something, but nothing really to me, right? But
Yeah.
most people, really care about birthdays and stuff like that. So personally, for me, I'm a little lower on that list. For instance, my wife, when it comes to aesthetic, the way things look, what she's visually seeing every day, she is like way more obsessive about that than, probably the normal baseline of person. But in our relationship, we just had to adjust to those things, like,
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
okay with those things, and realize this is my person. So I got to make whatever sacrifices needed to make in order to make this work with the person that I'm with.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't say her obsession around the way things look and stuff drips into all the other parts of our relationship, to where it's like, oh, you're a control freak, right? When
Yeah.
it comes to things, it's like, no, you just have your thing. And
Mhm.
newsflash, we all have our things around certain
Yes.
stuff that we really care about, and stuff that we
Mhm.
really could care less about.
That's it. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I think just kind of going back to attire and clothing, like for me, so like I said, I talked about just like being stylish, but I actually enjoy when someone appreciates how I look, of like the person I'm dating. I like that. And so if I do want to hear his feedback. Now, obviously I have my own individual idea of like what my aesthetic is, like how I like to look. And I do think that there's certain things that I don't want it to feel like, you say, you're just like being too controlling about it. Like you're like, I don't know if you remember this when Kim and Kanye were together, and they had the reality show, and there was this episode where he like went to her closet and like got rid of all of her stuff. Like, I'm overhauling your entire look. And that was such a, like, there was 50, it was like almost like 50-50. Half of the people were like, that is crazy, he's trying to control her. And the other people were like, well, he's more stylish and he's into fashion. So I would love it if a man came in and just like changed my whole wardrobe. That would drive that, I would not be okay with that. Like, that is just like way too far. Now, if you are really into fashion and you're like, oh, check this out, or did you see this, or whatever, I'm going to base my ability to accept your, I guess, influence or insight on your aesthetic. So if I think you're fly, whatever, and you can make that type of recommendation, then great. But I do absolutely care about what I would always care about what my man thought about how I look, like, especially if I'm going out with him. I think we should be proud of our partners from the inside out, but we can't act like the out doesn't matter. Like, I do want to be proud of you, but whether we're together or not. But most certainly, I think, I don't know if I'm weird about for this, but I want to be out and like somebody look at my man and like I can catch them checking my man out. Like, not in a way that's inappropriate. But
Admiration.
yeah, but they can admire him. Like, yeah, he looks nice. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that way too. And I don't think anybody, maybe they do, but I don't think most people want people that nobody wants. Okay, you know what I mean? So
Not at all.
I think that's a cool thing. And I think everybody's idea around what's appropriate is different, and you have to have the conversations within your relationship. Another relationship I think about is Ice T and Coco. They've been together for probably 20 years at this point. Coco was a video vixen and a model, very provocative when Ice T met her, and she has continued to dress that way the entire time. Getting in a relationship with him, marrying him, becoming the mother of his child did not change her physical aesthetic. So, nipples poking out, super tight dresses, see through things, thongs under, I mean, like thongs that you can see through the clothes. but her husband is okay with that. Her husband likes it. And so I think that if he didn't, it would probably be hard because that seemingly is who she is. But also, I think that she would adjust if it was something that he was like, I don't like, because clearly she's dressing the way that she likes, the way that she does, because she likes it, but so does he. And so I think it's all about what the two of you are actually comfortable with. There's some people that are like, I love that my man has a really, nice body and he wears fitted pants, and I don't care that his package is showing. I'm okay with that because it's mine. As long as it's not being touched, as long as he's not doing anything, he's fine. Me, on the other hand, I would prefer that it's not visible to the general public. I want you to look nice, but I don't need my stuff showing to everybody when you're around, out and about. So I
Yeah.
definitely think it should be a conversation. And Gloria, thank you so much about my hair. I appreciate the compliment.
I think you said the perfect word, and that's what it really boils down to is comfort. That's
Hmm.
really what it is that both people feel comfortable. But it kind of reminds me of, like, Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Like, you're doing these different exercises that at some point when you get to an actual fight, an actual competition, you can use these things. And when people are prepping for marriage and trying to figure out if this is the right person, is this the right time, is this the right situation, there are things throughout your relationship that are small moments and small situations that can speak to how you will operate in a larger situation. Like, I said it before already earlier, but this is a great exercise when it comes to marriage and partnership. That's what a lot of what you're going to do is. It's We got to find a place where we both feel comfortable, right? We're going to move into the same home. When we're searching for a home, we both got different things we want out of it. We probably got some of the same things, but got different things. How do we find a place to where we both feel comfortable? Because that's both our home, right? If
Yeah.
we are picking furniture within our home, we got to both find furniture that we both feel comfortable with. Like, this is the same
Yeah.
exercise, right? And you're going to have to figure out how to work through things to where you can get to a place to where you both feel comfortable. So if you can't solve the problem of outfits, right, and clothes, imagine when it comes to moving, or how we're going to raise our kid, or all these, how we're going to spend money, what strategy we're going to use, like those heavier questions in a relationship. If you can't even solve the small ones, the insignificant ones, then it's going to be tough to solve a lot of the bigger ones. So you take these moments in your relationship to work through them, and you give them real attention, because it's practice for how to get through some of the bigger things you're going to get through.
Yes, it's so true. And I love how you just were like, it's we talking about clothes. Like it's just clothes.
But that, the funny thing is like, that's because my mindset is my mindset. I don't care
Yeah.
about clothes. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't. I wear a white t-shirt and black t-shirt every single day.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember somebody saying about fashion, they was like, if you want to look good, if you want to have great style, the number one thing you could do above all else is just be in shape. Because if you're in shape, clothes look a lot better. You could take a white t-shirt on somebody in shape and a white t-shirt on somebody who's not in shape, and it'll look completely better than that. So I focus on going to the gym every day. So if I wear a white shirt, it's like, I've had people compliment my white shirt, like, where you get that white shirt from? Where you get that shirt from? And my white shirts are like high quality. It ain't Hanes or
Yeah.
nothing like that. But
Yeah.
I will wear those every day, because I don't, it's like there's a brain fatigue that comes with trying to figure out what to
What
wear
to
every
wear.
day, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with like what to cook and what to eat. It's like, but I want to remove that out of my mind. So for me, it's like, I don't really care, but
They
I know
said,
that
y'all, it's
other
not the
people do.
shirt, it's the guns, baby. It's the guns, baby. It's not the shirt, it's the
That's what
body.
I'm saying. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, we're like, I agree with that. I do think obviously clothes look better usually on a body that's more fit. But I definitely don't get brain fatigue. I mean, maybe just like frustration, but because I love style, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
like
wait.
it.
Like, what do I? Yeah, like what can I? What
I'm
what am I gonna wear today?
it's like me when it comes to cooking. Like, I don't get how people can spend hours in the kitchen. If I'm hungry, I want to eat.
They
I
like now, baby. Like, what's up?
especially like, I hate cooking from recipes, because maybe you can give me 4 ingredients, Rhonda. If you put 5 to 8 on that thing, I'm not walking up all them daggone aisles to get sage
Mm-hmm.
and some
Yeah.
garlic cloves
Yeah.
and chopping. No, I don't got the patience for that. But that's it. If you enjoy it and you like it, you have more of a
You have
patience and
so
a
much
tolerance
patience
for
for it.
all the things that come with it.
It's so true. That's it. I absolutely get it because there's certain things like all that you do in like tech and cameras and I'm like, child, can somebody just come set it up? I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't even want to think about it. Like I do not want to even think about it. I want to close my eyes and it just appears and it's just perfect. I want to
I
share
think
Brittany's comment
I was
here.
gonna say the same thing.
You will say because this is really it. Brittany says it is always going to be about the approach for me about anything. If you want to see me in something or not in something, it's about your approach and how you communicate that. How often do we talk about communication? Is
A
there an
100%.
episode where we don't talk about communication?
Not at all. It just
No.
reminded me of my wife. Like, it's funny. Like, she don't do this anymore. But when I said we've matured in this, like, way that we communicate, even around this subject, it's
Hmm.
like I will wear something, she not have an issue with it. But then when she don't want me to wear it that day, all of a sudden she hate it. I've always hated that. I've, I'm like, I done wore this 5 times and you ain't never say nothing. But the
She said I
moment
was,
you want
I
me
was
to
letting it
change
slide the
now,
other time. Now I
the
hate
moment
it.
moment you want me to change, now you hate it. And it's like, what? Like, so you want me to throw this away? I mean, you ain't gotta throw it away, but I don't like it. I don't like them. And it's like, I don't believe you. I know you enough now to know that you just saying this because you want me to wear something
To wear
different.
something
But
else.
I
Yeah.
do agree that the approach is what matters. And like I said, I've said this before on this show. If we are still arguing about the same things we argued about 2 years ago, then we didn't do something right. Like
Ooh.
after a while, it's like I know you, you know me. I'm not arguing about the same things we argued about 2 years ago. You like me to wear these shoes or wear this shirt or wear this like this or wear this like that. Either I leave or I capitulate, essentially, when it comes to a lot of things. And it's like, I'm not about to keep fighting this every time we're going somewhere or trying to do something or anything like that. So I think after a while, if you've been in a relationship enough with somebody that you just start to like know what they like and know what they don't like after it's been communicated different times and you just kind of start to adjust based off of what you know they prefer.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Now, she alluded to what you brought up earlier that there were other controlling things. Like essentially, if I really got into it, we would be here all day. So while I don't necessarily think that his insight or his feedback about how you dress is ill placed, just because we don't know enough to truly know that, it does sound like there are other signs in the relationship that point to him being controlling. So I thought it was appropriate to just kind of jump into that and talk about what control looks like in relationships, because a lot of times it does not actually come across as like aggressive or something that's like blaringly obvious, where someone is coming at you with strong energy or they using harsh words towards you that are obviously harsh, calling you out your name or different things like that. Sometimes the control is just a lot. It's a lot more sly, or it comes across in if you know anything about the workplace, we use the term microaggressions. Those can exist in all types of relationships, including romantic relationships, but it's sometimes just little subtle things that they do that indicate control. But before we get into some of those signs, Dre, have you ever had a controlling partner, or like just somebody even that you were kicking it with, dating, and she just was like trying to control everything about what you were doing?
Not that I could think of, but if you know me, you know I'm a very disciplined person. I can care less about what somebody got to say or feel. I was never a person who really fell for peer pressure. That's why I ain't got
Yeah.
no tattoos. I ain't got like during them times in school where everybody was getting. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I'm good. So it's like you. There's a reason why I've only had 2 girlfriends in my life because I've only given 2 women really the true authority of being like, I really want to be with you, and your opinion really factors that much into my decision making that I want to
Yeah.
give you this title in my life.
Hmm.
Outside of that, those other people, it's like if they were, they probably weren't around for long, because it's like I I don't take lightly to that, and I do think, um, well, I'll ask you the question first, and then I'll share my thought around something
Hmm.
else that you have said too. Have you been in a super controlling situation?
No, I'm like you, where like people have tried. Oh, it came up. You know, I peeped it, but squashed it quickly because I can't be. Um, it's just it rubs me the wrong way. I have a very hard time with that. Now, have I been in relationships where a person, they live their life a certain way and they might have wanted me to consider their perspective a lot. Like, I've dated someone that was a lot older than me. And so he was a lot slower in just things that he did, not physically, but like he just enjoyed
Mhm.
like more calm activities, and he would try to get me to do some of those things with him, and some I did and I enjoyed them, and others they just like really weren't for me. But outside of he wasn't trying to control me. He still gave me plenty of room and runway to enjoy my life the way that I wanted to, and then we just did the things that we liked together. But anytime someone has tried to like micromanage me or like follow me or ask me a bunch of questions about where I've been and what I'm doing, even in that relationship that I was just referencing, this came up one time because I thought that he was trying to be controlling. It really was just about safety. And I think I talked about it in like an earlier episode, where when I would go out, he would be like, let me know when you get to your destination. And a lot of times I would forget to do that. It wasn't because I was trying to avoid telling him where I was going. I just would forget. Then he would text and he'd be like, "Hey, did you make it there okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I forgot to text you." I would do that a lot. And then at some point he was like, why aren't you doing that? And he didn't ask me aggressively, but my mind computed it to aggression. My mind was like, "Who the hell he think he at? Who he talking to?" Like I just heard it that way. And I was like, why do you need that? You know what I mean? Like why do you need me to tell you when I get to where I'm going? And he's like, because I care about you. And it's just out of care and concern. Like you are, and at this time we live 45 to minutes to an hour away from where I would socialize a lot. So a lot of times I was driving long-ish distance to get to my friends or whatever. And he's like, it's just really about safety. Like I'm not trying to, I trust that you're going where you say you're going and all of that, but I just want to, know that you're okay. And it was like, damn. Okay, fair enough, but it still was hard for me to do, so we just came up with a alternative that he wouldn't get frustrated if I forgot to tell him, and that I would do a better job at letting him know when I got there, and it winded up working itself out, but I don't play the control thing. As soon as I sense it, I'm out. Mm-mm.
I think there's a lesson in what you said, and people have to. A lot of things in relationships are about discernment. A
Mhm.
lot of things in life are about discernment. I've said before, I think on the show, but I love the quote that in order to succeed in life, you have to learn to operate in the gray. Like the black and the
Mhm.
white is very easy, but the gray is, if you can figure out how to discern that area, it'll help you to be successful in life. And one thing that you brought up that I think is important is you have to be able to distinguish controlling versus covering, right?
Mhm.
It's like, as a man who truly cares about his woman, um, you operate in a way to where you're covering her, but sometimes it's telling her you need to do this or I need you to do that in order for me to make sure that you're good. I'm covering you. You just gotta trust me. I've had a few situations. I remember times where um when I first started dating Bree, she would sell things on like I think it was like, it's kind of like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but places where you get furniture from people, take
Yeah.
furniture from people. So we were going to pick up something one time, and I was like, "I see you got flip flops on. I need you to put shoes on." And she was like, "Well, I need to put shoes on, blah, blah." I'm like, "I need you to put shoes on. We don't know who it is that we're going to, where we're really going to. And if something go
Mhm.
down,
I
you in
need you to
flip
be able to
flops is
run.
not going to work. I need you to be able to run. I need you to be able to kick. I need you to be able to like, and flip flops ain't what it is. That can
Yeah.
come off as controlling, right? I'm telling you what to do, how to do it. But what I'm doing is really covering. you, to
Mhm,
make
mhm.
sure that like we're going to be good and try to think of things that you may not really be thinking of. And even
Yeah.
to your point where you're talking about like, oh, make sure you let me know where you're at. It's like things like that are important. I remember I was at one of my friend's birthday parties, right? And Bria called me and she was like, can you, my phone's on 1%. Can you call me an Uber? Cause I called an Uber, but the Uber canceled and my phone's about to die and this and that. And this is where I'm at. So I called her the Uber. The Uber is supposed to pick up where she was, and then the Uber canceled. I called her, she didn't pick up. Her phone was dead. Her phone was dead. So I'm sitting
Oof.
there waiting. We out at a club at a party, and I'm just like stepped outside and called another Uber, and then I called when the Uber arrived. I was like, "Do you see a woman out there, curly hair? She was wearing all black, anything?" He was like, "I don't see anybody out here." Immediately, I had to leave. Like it didn't
Yeah,
matter what was going on. It was my cousin's birthday party. We were having fun. I was like, I need to go find my wife. Like, I can't. She could be perfectly fine, right?
yeah,
She could
yeah,
have found a way. She is an adult. I'm sure she made her way, but I can't, in my good conscience,
yeah,
just stay here and not go and find her. So it's like the different things. Make sure you charge your phone. Make sure you take your ID. Make sure you do this. It's not controlling. It's me covering you, right? To make sure that you're going to be good, because the worst thing that a man could feel is like you're in danger and I'm not there. And
mhm,
there's nothing I could do to help you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like you have to be able to distinguish and have that discernment for a man who's like really trying to protect you and cover you versus somebody who's really trying to control you. But one thing that you had said that I wanted to talk about was I think they're like when you were talking about, I kind of see more as like being manipulative, which
mhm,
is kind of a way of controlling, but it's more in that sly, like you said, passive aggressive, not being direct in it type of ways. Like that's very manipulative. I see controlling as like doing it with no tact at all. You're just straight to the point, kind of, not really mincing words. Like it's just not really caring about feelings or anything like that. It's just like straight to it. And I feel like those people you could tell because tell they're truly controlling people because a lot of times they don't have tact in the way
mhm.
they communicate, but they also a lot of times don't have accountability in themselves. Right?
Yeah,
It's like they want you to be everything, but don't hold that same standard to themselves with a
yeah.
lot of controlling people, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the one thing I was going to add to what you were saying, and when it comes to discerning, because how do you know the difference between a man who is trying to cover you versus a man who, or just a person that's trying to cover you versus a person that's trying to control you? I think it lies in the person's character. Like, how do they show up most of the time? Are they respectfully protective of you? And when I say respectfully protective of you, think about the person who is looking out for you by walking ahead of you, by putting their hand. I remember driving in a car with my mom, and if she had to hit that brake super hard, she's putting her hand across me so that I don't jump, I don't fall forward in the car. She knows what's about to happen before I know what's about to happen because she's driving. To me, that's like respectful protection, or someone saying like, oh, hey babe, you know don't forget your ID, because the last time you forgot it and you had to come all the way back, and I would hate for you to have to do that. It's really in the tone, and it's the personality, it's their overall character, because the same person could be being protective of you, but not in a respectful way. They're going ahead of you or shoving you back, or again, a lot of the same gestures, if you will, but they come with more force. They come with disrespect, or like, don't forget your ID because your dumb ass forgets that all the time. You're so forgetful. It has a different energy to it usually. But I will say the controlling thing a lot of times it starts slow. It starts small. It starts in the little, oh, I'm just trying to look out for you. And it at a point it does turn. It absolutely will turn that corner and look like something different. And I know this not from my own lived experience with it, but from so many people that I know who have been in not physically abusive relationships, which I have friends who have been, but verbally abusive ones, or ones where they feel like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't say that, or I have to wear my hair like this because that's the only way that he likes it, and he'll have a whole fit if my hair is not like that. I've been a girlfriend to people like this, and what started off as cutesy at first, like, oh, he just really likes my hair like this, is now a demand. It is not a request. It is now a requirement. And that is the difference in someone trying to just give you insight and have community with you within the relationship versus someone trying to like literally parent you and control you.
Yeah.
That's the difference in how they truly show up on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and one other way that it can show up and you can differentiate from the two is you shouldn't feel like their love is tied to you making that decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they are holding their love, their commitment hostage until you make meet whatever demand that they're laying out for you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a controlling person.
Yeah.
I have a preference of how my wife wears her hair,
Mm-hmm.
right? I love the curls,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, but I don't love her any less. I'm not withholding anything from her if she chooses to straighten her hair
Yeah.
or if she chooses to put it in a ball cap or anything like that. Like, I don't really care. I just got a preference. If you were to
Yeah.
ask me, what do I prefer? I will
It's
tell
always
you
gonna
what
be the
I
curls.
prefer.
Yeah.
But I'm not withholding my love, commitment, or anything from you because you choose to do something else.
Yeah.
There are things that I would prefer she wear. There are things that I prefer she cook. There are things I prefer she say versus the way she says other things. Even small things like she call up, down, and down, up. I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going down to Cleveland. I'm going up to Florida. Like, it's not up, it's not down, right? I prefer you use the right form of
The
direction,
actual directions of the
the actual
location.
directions when you say it. But it's like, even if I, say something, my love and affection is not tied to her listening or meeting whatever I say, right? It's just
Yeah.
I'm communicating those things. And on top of that, her comfort is what's most important to me anyway. So I
Yeah.
communicate my preference, I communicate my insight, but we're also factoring into the equation her comfort level, right? And
Mhm.
what's not factored into the equation is my love to her, because that's always going to be the same regardless. So if you're looking to try to figure out if somebody's more controlling or not controlling, if they're holding something hostage in
Mhm.
order to get that thing from you, then they're probably trying to control you because they're saying, like, hey, in order for me to give you something, you have to, and then it becomes an exchange of something, of service or whatever. And that doesn't come off as genuine to me in any relationship.
Absolutely. So I found, and I felt like these were that there were so many lists of like ways to or signs of someone being controlling, but I felt like psychcentral.com compiled the most sure list, and I want to just share that because I felt like it was like literally perfect. One of the things is they micromanage you. And I don't know anybody that likes to be micromanaged in or out of a relationship. I hate being micromanaged, but I also hate micromanaging people. So, no way that I could deal with that. The second one is they make decisions for you. Now, I don't think that there's anything technically wrong with this sometimes, but if they never give you autonomy to make decisions, and when I say make decisions for you, like a Dre, several times in this episode, Dre's like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. So I don't think he would have a problem with you just made a decision and brought the dinner home. You know what I like? You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I like? You don't have to call me and be like, do you need this? Do you want to see what I like? Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes I do want my man to make the decision for me too. Like,
I have a
baby, I don't
question.
know. Yes.
Do you think, for those who listen, I raised my hand. Do you think parents naturally micromanage like their kids even as adults sometimes because they still see them as kids?
Yes.
Like, I was
Yes.
just wondering if it was my parent or if it's just all parents.
I don't know a parent that does
Like,
not do that.
you pick something out, don't use that spatula, use the other spatula because that
Hmm.
other spatula is better for you for
Hmm.
if you're trying to do that. No, no, don't use that. Go in that drawer and get that other thing out. When it really don't matter. The spoon is gonna work
The
regardless for what I'm
spoon
trying to
is going to
do.
work. They will never not see you as children that need to be managed. Like it is just a part of being a kid, dude. Like that's a that's it. That's probably the only, and I don't even really like it in that dynamic at this point. But I just accept it
Yeah,
because
you
I
gotta
know
accept
that
it.
at a point I was her child. I was her baby. So I had to be
Everybody's saying yes.
micromanaged.
I guess
Everybody,
everybody's parent
yes.
is like that.
Mhm. They can't help themselves. They just cannot.
But at the
Third,
same time, when you need something, you be calling like, "Hey,
hey, can you
m-
you be needing some
my
micromanaging?
head hurt. What's that? What should I take and how many doses?"
I've been so congested and nothing's working. What's that thing you used to use on me? Yeah, now you need to be micromanaging. Can you send it to me? Because I don't feel good. Uh-huh. Yeah. So that's why I say I accept that one. I totally accept that
100%.
one. Okay, the third thing is they're overprotective. Over being the key word here. They're overprotective. They invade your privacy. They play the blame game. Whew, you just talked about how you don't take away love, right? Like if Bree is not doing something that is your preference, you don't adjust or change. Controlling people will not only take the love away from you, but they'll blame what you did on something that happened to them. For example, oh, you didn't wear your hair the way that I like. That's why we didn't have a good time tonight. That's why I didn't do good on whatever the presentation is because I was so frustrated because you didn't cook what I wanted for dinner last night. They use the things that they wish that you would do it the way that they want them to do it. They then take that and blame actions that have nothing to do with that, have nothing to do with you at all. They blame you for those types of things. And it's just a way to, again, manipulate and invalidate you. It's so a way to guilt you or make you feel bad so that you'll do what they want you to do. It's all just a manipulation tactic.
It's so funny that what you described in those few points more describes a child parent relationship than an actual intimate relationship between partners, right?
Mhm.
Like a parent is going to be overprotective because they're trying to, make sure you don't make mistakes that you probably aren't mature enough to know that are coming, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's like it, those relationships fail when a partner is treating their person like they're a child,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like I appreciate you covering me, right? But I'm also not a child.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be this overprotective, overbearing person like I am 5 years old, right? At
Yeah.
the same time, like you don't have to micromanage every single thing that I do. Like I'm an adult. I made it to this age before you were even around and in the picture. Like I
Yeah.
can take care of myself. Like I don't need you to tell me every little thing to do. And also, that's one thing I had to learn in my relationship is like it's okay to for your partner to be inefficient in something to where the time don't matter, like the things don't matter. It's like who cares if their
That's it.
method takes an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Like you have to learn how to not fight all these battles, dog. And it's like
Yeah.
you gotta let some things go because what often happens, we remember the old story that probably any kid or any person has ever heard in their life is the
Yeah.
boy who cried wolf, right?
Mm.
And what the issue was is that his voice became ineffective because he would bring something up every single time. So the moment that there was something real, it fell on deaf ears because nobody really took to heart what he was saying because he was always saying something. So it's
Mhm.
like your voice could be ineffective in your relationship because you're trying to control or complaining about every little thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you really care about or don't care about because they all come across the same way. But
Mhm.
if you're one of those people to where you can literally say in your relationship, I don't even ask for much. I don't complain about much or nothing like that. When you do bring that up, it's taken with a level of seriousness because it's like, oh, this person don't even be tripping about most of the stuff. So if they're bringing it up right now, it must be something that really bothers them or that they really care about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not worth it. Like that's like to fight every single little thing. It should actually drive you crazy and or indicate to you that this is probably just not the relationship. You know what I mean? Like if you can't just chill or you just because I think a lot of that also comes from like you just really like your person a lot or you really appreciate them and so you tend to just see the good in them even when it's just not the way that you would do it. Like you said, it take an extra 5 to 10 minutes, but like, I like them a lot. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I value this person. I think that they're smart. I think that they're capable. And so it doesn't in fact have to be my way. My way is not the only way. My thought is not the only thought. My perspective is not the only perspective. Now, when these things are on bigger things, when we're talking about more fundamental differences, where being in alignment is really crucial, that's one thing. But what television shows, like you said, what clothes, and can these things bubble up and become big arguments? Yes, but should they? No. They really shouldn't. Like we should be focusing on what absolutely positively matters. And I think a happy and healthy relationship really honors and celebrates the individuality of the two people and how our individuality makes us better partners. Like you're coming from a different walking experience in life. I may be coming from a different walking experience in life. And together, that is a beautiful cohesion. Like it's a wonderful tapestry of colors and insights and differences that make this relationship so cool and so dope. And like, I don't want to be with a person that's exactly like me. I do want a person that's a bit different from me that I can learn from, that can show me things, that can maybe inspire something in me or change my perspective on something, or at least allow me to consider something else. So I think trying to manipulate or control people to be the way you want them to be, even children, is just not okay. Because at a point I was out with some coworkers the other day, and one was like, I realized at this point, his kids are still, they're kids. They're like the youngest is 2 and the oldest is 10. And he's like, the reality is, I know that I'm not in control. The control is a bit of a falsehood. I am here to guide, I am here to manage to some degree. But ultimately, they're going to be people, like whole adult people. And I'm not in control. And so all I can do is try to instill good things in them and hope and pray that they latch onto those things and make good decisions. But I actually really can't fully control them. Even when they're little right now and I want them to sit down and shut up, they don't. You know what I mean? Like I can't even control that sometimes. So I think trying to control your partner is just, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I can't understand it. But really quickly, the other two things that are on the, or three things that are on the list, they criticize you, which we talked about that a bit. They say it in a really harsh way. They isolate you from others. That's a huge sign of someone trying to control you, making you their only connection to to the world.
Hmm.
They gaslight you and they trespass your boundaries. And I think those boundaries, even when we're talking about clothing and dressing and stuff, if your partner is saying, hey, this makes me uncomfortable, like it makes me feel you know uneasy, or it makes me feel like I can't protect you if you're wearing this out and we're not together, and your person trespasses that, your person says, I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I think that may not appear to be a sign of control, but it is a way to push you into doing what they want you to do, not what is a consideration for a partnership. So those are more so signs of like someone really trying to control you. And I think if you pay enough attention, you'll be able to pick up on when someone is like doing too much in the relationship and trying to make you do things that they want you to do.
Yeah. And I'll add one other thing to that list too is that they try to change the essence of who you are. I
Hmm.
think that's a big thing. It's like, we have these conversations. I communicate my preferences, but I don't ever want you to change the essence of who you are. Like you said,
Yeah.
you're a person who loves style, who cares about it, who cares about fragrances and all these things and how they complement each other. Even if I have a preference on certain things, like, I feel like this is a little too exposed or anything. I'm not trying to change the essence of who you are. It's like
Yeah.
if you want to like I said, build a woman or a man to be whatever you want to be. Like, good luck, but do that somewhere else. Like, I shouldn't have to change the things that I like and the things that I prefer and the things that
Hmm.
make me who I am just for you,
Yes.
because that don't mean I gotta change. That just mean we ain't the right ones for each other. That's all that mean.
Boop,
It's
boop.
like,
Boop, boop,
and
boop.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing that like we gotta get away from is like y'all choosing people. Like, why are you choosing a person? Like, I'm gonna be with this person no matter what, and we gonna find a way to make this person work. And it's like that just may not be your person, and that's
That's
okay.
it.
Like,
That's
It's
okay.
like we don't want to, because when people get to the point where they have to change the essence of their self, they become unfamiliar with themselves and who they are. And we've seen that in people's eyes of people who kind of lost their fire.
Oh,
Like
yes.
you've seen that, right? It's just like you
Yes.
look like kind of Walking Dead, essentially. Like
Yep.
you just kind of existing, but that
Mhm.
light, that fire within you is gone. And
It's
part of
gone.
that, like you said, is all those things you said, the isolation from other people, because
Being
there'll be people that
criticized.
along the way
Yeah.
will be like, you okay? Like you look different,
Mhm.
you seem down, like you sure,
Yeah.
like, it's all those
Yeah.
things. So
You're
yeah.
just walking around living in fear, withdrawn. It's a scary, scary thing. And then I mean it's certainly a gateway, if you will. It's a form of abuse, but it's a gateway to bigger abuse. So anyone, if you feel that that's what's happening in your relationship, if you can get out, get out. If you can't figure out how to get out, get help, because being in a controlling relationship is definitely a dangerous place to be in. It is only a matter of time before things get out of hand. And I don't think anyone with integrity and true love in their hearts really wants to actually control other people. I know I don't. I know Dre doesn't. And I would like to think we're pretty good people. So Dre,
Yes.
final thoughts. Where do you think she should go with this? Because she didn't again tell us the other controlling things, but she alludes to the fact that there are lots of them, including his focus on how she dresses. So she says she really wants your perspective, and so you have the floor, my friend.
Oh man. Um I think you have to take a step back and look at the totality of the relationship, right? And how he operates in every single area of your relationship. Is he just controlling in this one area, or are there other areas within your relationship to where you're like, oh, no matter what I'm doing, he wants me to do it his way, and there doesn't really seem to be any wiggle room in how I can, go about the things that I want to do, because that is an indication of, somebody who's going to continue to be controlling. Like Rhonda said, if the door is cracked and you say come on in, right, then he's going to continue that behavior, and it's probably going to get worse and worse. But I do think, from somebody who is married and been in a relationship to where this has been a conversation, I think pretty much every relationship you've probably had a conversation around attire, what somebody's wearing, anything like that. It's a natural conversation to have. And I think for you, you just have to look and say, like, I'll say this, that I remember reading a sermon one time, or listened to a sermon, and the pastor made one of his he did a two-part thing. And for uh men, it was, are you worth submitting to? Like, this is again one of those things to where it's like, if everything else in the relationship is going right, right, typically, if you ask for certain things in your relationship, that person will look at all the other things in a relationship and be like, you don't want me to wear this lace thing? Okay. Like,
Say less.
say less. Like, it's fine. Like, I'll figure it
Mhm.
out. Or it gives me a new challenge to find something else cute or anything like that that I can wear, right?
Yep.
But what this kind of tells me is that there are maybe some other things in a relationship that's not making you feel comfortable or not making you feel okay in this relationship. So you don't necessarily want to give up, I guess, your power and something that means a lot to you, because I don't think you truly trust the person that you're actually with, and whether it's subconsciously or consciously. So my advice is, look at a relationship, see if this is a behavior that's happening throughout the whole relationship. But at the end of the day, if the request is small, like something of like not wearing, not having your boobs out, or something being too provocative, you have to understand, as typically as men, we um don't want you to showcase, and as Rhonda just said, with packages and tight pants and gray sweatpants and all that stuff like that. Typically, as partners with each other, we don't want one another to showcase all the goods to other people, and just provocatively, because at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, you are representations of each other. So if somebody's just communicating that something makes them feel uncomfortable, then, like, if you truly want a long-term relationship with somebody, changing a shirt is going to be these one of the smallest things that you're going to have to deal with over the totality of a full relationship. So if it's
Mhm.
not that big of a deal, I just say make the adjustment. But
Yeah,
evaluate the whole relationship, because it might be a behavior that's actually planting the seed for a larger, thing of resentment or issues or manipulative behavior to grow.
absolutely. The only thing I will add to that is I think that your unwillingness to be open to changing it is an indication that, like Dre said, you don't necessarily, I don't want to say you don't respect this person, but you either feel very confident and comfortable that what you wear is appropriate, it's fine, it's you, it's your essence, and it's not something you should change. And you know that this is just a controlling tactic because of other behaviors. And I think that if you're in that type of place where this is being harped upon and it's talked about a bunch, and you are coupling that with all these other controlling behaviors, I feel like I don't understand why you would continue on. I mean, I also am very much confused as to, like, did your style change somehow? Because you're now in a relationship with the person. So I assume that you dress the same way, but maybe you didn't. I know some people go through a physical transformation and that might lead to their style changing. Sometimes people lose a bunch of weight or they get in shape and they may decide to wear certain things that their body didn't afford them the opportunity to, in their mind, to wear before. So I don't know the dynamics, but I think that if you have consistently looked the way that you look, dressed the way that you dress since you met this man, and now you found yourself in a relationship with him, and now the clothes and the dressing is a thing. I think it's a signal that there's other things going on. Like you said, is there more to this? Probably. If you say that he's got other controlling behaviors, yes, it's probably more to it, and it's just a way to make you feel bad about who you are in order to be controlled and really do what he wants to do. So for me, based on how you presented it, it doesn't sound like it's something worth trying to pursue. But I do agree, only you know, and you have to sit back, as Dre said, and look at the relationship in its totality and determine if it's something that's really worth going back and forth about. Because I've never been in a relationship we got down to it and we were like, we gotta decide if we're gonna be together over what we are wearing. Never.
100%. And
Never
one
ever.
thing that you can do to help evaluate that is see if the goalpost continues to move.
Mm,
Like, see if you do one thing and then that one thing isn't good enough. And then you do another thing and then that another thing isn't good enough. And it always seems like, because that's one manipulation tool, is to
mhm.
keep you in a space of not being enough. So
Yeah,
then you're always chasing that feeling and that approval, and then you start to do all these different things that are really outside of yourself to try to
yeah.
get that approval. So it's like, just observe, be conscious, pay attention to the behaviors, but ultimately, like Rhonda and I said, from our experience, it seems like it's an indication that you don't feel, whether it's respect or trust, that space just doesn't feel like a space to where you,
Yeah,
would allow you to make those changes, or you feel comfortable making those changes, because that's ultimately, well, in a healthy relationship, what you'll see is
yeah.
like, I don't necessarily understand, but if you telling me you need this, I got you.
Mhm, mhm.
And when you
That's
get
it.
really at a really healthy relationship, you don't even got to say that. It's just, I do it. I'm like, I don't get
Mhm.
it, but they telling me they need it,
Yeah.
and you want me to change a shirt?
Mhm.
Okay. Or you want me to not like, or to, take a walk with you every day, or you want me to eat my food out here because this bother, like, you look at all those things and like, okay, like,
Okay.
that's fine. Like, I it
'Cause
ain't
you know
like,
it's coming from a good place, from a good person, you know?
yeah.
That's
And when you've been through it in a relationship, you like, I'm saving my energy to fight this over the stuff that, like, I really got, put
that
all
I
my weight
truly
behind,
care
that
about.
I truly
Yes.
care about. Like, all this
Yes.
other stuff, it's like, I do not care. Like, but it takes time to get there. Where I'm at now was not where I was when I started my relationship. So it just takes time to learn each other. But I always say, when two people really love each other, they figure it out. Like, at a certain point, they'll figure it out. They'll argue, they'll have immature moments, They'll have
Hmm.
all these different things, but if they love each other, truly love each other, they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's it. That's what it's all about. So we hope we were able to help you, real lover. And thank you for opening up. And like Dre said, trusting us with this. We know you are a private person. So your secret's safe with us, girl. And if you have a scenario and you want our help with it, head over to our website and write into the show. We love, love, love to help you. Thank you to all of our real lovers in the chat. We got some core people here that keep coming back every week, and we love, love, love to see
Share
that.
with
So
your
thank
friends.
you.
Tell them to come on.
Yes. Please, please, we need you guys to share. We need this podcast to grow. If you follow me on IG, you know I had a little, not a rant about it, but kind of. I need you all to be more loud about supporting the good that is out in this relationship universe. So amplify our voices. We rely on you to do that, and we really appreciate you for doing that. If you are not a real lover, make sure you're one today. Okay, comment, like, subscribe, share this video, but also join our community. That's what makes us know you are really, really locked in when you join the community. So over in that same website, click join the community so you can learn and spend some time with us behind the scenes, because that's where it really goes down. That's where we really have true community and bond and spend time with each other off the mics. And of course, follow us on social media. I'm at Ronnie Cakes
Ask Dre Smith.
and at Relationship Restored. And we'll see you next time.